The nation of Islam is seeking to develop economic independence. Under the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the nation is further along than any other group of African Americans in their attitude toward and pursuit of self-sufficiency.
I had been looking for answers to questions in life all of my life, and I had never received any answers that I thought were valid or truthful. I could find so many discrepancies in Christianity, and my father being a minister and me being right in the seat of Christianity let me know that the way the church was, that wasn't the answer. I was looking, seeking, you know, I was planning even to go to Africa. I was making arrangements in New York to go to Africa to teach or to, you know, just get back to black or get around black or learn more about myself. And in the process met someone who had heard some teaching. And the things that he was saying were so different. I'd never heard them before. And so I, you know, almost begged, take me to hear what you heard. I want to hear from myself. So I went to Muhammad's mosque in New York and knew immediately that this is what I had been looking for.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. This is Muhammad newspaper. It's the most informative newspaper ever printed. Here you are, my brother. Stick your paper to go. It's only 15 cents, brother. One small nickel and a dime for your own. Pardon me, brother. You had this Muhammad newspaper? Muhammad speaking. I got that one, baby. Give me a quarter or something, brother. I thank you very much. Muhammad speaks newspaper, my brother. Here's the 3rd edition, real quick. Muhammad speaks, good brother. Here's the black paper for every black man, woman, and child.
The brothers on the street selling their newspapers are the most obvious form of Muslim economic activity, but certainly not the only one. Their interests are on many levels, and in almost every black community there is a mosque in some form of Muslim establishment. The most prominent, the newspaper Muhammad Speaks, serves to inform, instruct, and link up the members spread across the country, and in addition, provides a source of income for maintaining and beginning other businesses. At the recently acquired headquarters in Chicago, newspaper editor John Woodford describes the focus of the first weekly national black paper.
We focus on all news affecting black people, whom we consider to be every people in the, you know, so-called third world. The shade differentiations, you know, black, brown, red, yellow, we ignore, since the whites ignore this kind of differentiation among them. From the official Pollitt surveys, we have a circulation of about, I'd say, close to 500,000, and we figure about 6 people would read every paper, so this would get up towards 3 million, and that's considering that there are only 22, 25, or 30 million black people. This is, you know, a pretty good circulation, although we ought to be up to about 6 or 7 million pretty soon. Now, I wanted to get this referendum, the black referendum for the war in Vietnam. That's Simmons' article. So that'd be a byline. That should go up as close to the front as possible. Let's see. Then for page 15. Oh yeah, contract buyers. Now there's some pictures. Hassan Sharif has pictures. And do we have anything on Nigeria? When people can't disprove the fact that we print the truth about certain matters, they usually tend to try to dismiss what we say by saying it's a bunch of religious fanatics taking positions out of dogma and so forth. They did this with Nigeria, they do it with population control, and this is an effort on their part to avoid the real issues we bring up. we are never told by anyone to take any position on a matter. You know, all we're told by Mr. Muhammad is to go out and find out what's happening and print the truth. In other words, he's confident that if we do this, regardless of our own religious or lack of religious beliefs. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I'm not formally in any religious group. But the fact that he would let me be the editor shows that he's mainly interested in the news.
The news written in the editorial department by a basic staff of 8 with correspondents around the world goes to the composing room. Equipped with the latest computers for setting type and other modern machinery, the entire cost came to over $250,000. This plant also contains facilities for film processing, negative preparation, and other artwork. The Muslims take pride in the fact that they ordered and paid for the entire operation within 3 months.
I came to Muhammad Speaks newspaper in 1961.
Eugene Majid, art director for the National Muslim Organization, explains the purpose of his artwork.
I have to go back to an ancient saying about a picture being worth 1,000 words, so Mr. Muhammad is well aware of the value of pictures and drawings, and so therefore he uses that in getting across his program, and we think it's quite successful because the Muhammad's newspaper has become the #1 black newspaper in the country, and this is as a result of Mr. Muhammad's writings and illustrations regarding to this program.
In addition to providing news with an international scope, Muhammad Speaks supplies Muslim and non-Muslim brothers with on-the-job training. Once more men are trained, the paper is planning to come out twice a week and ultimately daily. Only 9 years old, Muhammad Speaks is now sold in the U.S., Canada, the Caribbean, and Africa. Another aspect of Muslim self-development is education through the University of Islam school system, like this one in Chicago under the direction of Sister Beverly X.
The University of Islam teaches regular academic subjects. The thing that makes our school quite different is that we incorporate the spirit of Islam into the lessons and into the teaching. We also do not have the frills that are in the public school system. We eliminate the sport, the play, the rest periods, the snack periods, the free periods, all of these which give to the children nothing. Our school population at the University of Islam #2 in Chicago is approximately 600 students. This goes from kindergarten, which starts at the age of 4, through high school. Our school is in session for a full year, minus 2 weeks. So we are in session for 50 weeks out of the year, which is really a full year program.
Tucson, will you show me 4 o'clock on your individual clock there? And the rest of you, show me that you can tell when it's 4 o'clock also. Okay, then, so if we would move our little hand to 8. Now, what is the hour? 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. Tucson, can you tell me what time it is now?
School starts in the morning for the brothers at 8 o'clock, and they start their school day with a religion session in Islam. There is a separate education for the sisters. They are taught the same academic subjects, but they do go to school after the brothers are dismissed. They go to school from 11:30 to 2:30. One of the things that I would like to say is that of the black teachers that are complaining so strongly about improper education and lack of quality education in the white man's schools, they are the ones that are doing the teaching. The black teachers are the ones that are doing the teaching, and that they should take it as a responsibility upon themselves to make sure that the black children get the best education. If they can't do it, we know that the University of Islam can.
National Secretary John Ali.
Well, it is a desire and plan of Mr. Muhammad to make us completely self-sufficient, like other people are. Because the only way you can be independent, you have to be self-sufficient. As he says in good language that we all can understand, we have to take our stomachs out of the white man's kitchen. And so this is one of the significant things about Mr. Muhammad followers. We support ourselves. I mean, in the black community, there are very few or nothing that's supported by the black community, because we have not been trained to support ourselves. We support every other activity except ourselves. But the followers of Mr. Muhammad, we have supported ourselves, and this is why we're able to maintain our own private schools. We have our own farms. We have our own newspaper plant. We have our own bakeries and other things, because we do these things ourselves.
In the drive to be self-sufficient, the nation attempts to provide for basic needs. Their supermarket chain encourages the black community to buy their food supply there, especially Muslim products that come from Muslim farms, like beef, bread, fruit, and vegetables. The bakeries across the nation range from a personal kitchen to large establishments that produce cakes, cookies, and pies, and of course, the famous Muslim bean pie. Again, both Muslim and non-Muslim brothers and sisters are employed. From farms in Michigan, Alabama, and Georgia, beef is transported by the Muslims' own trucking service, processed in their plant in Chicago, and delivered to be sold in their various stores. Some of the food grown on their farms go to Muslim restaurants like the Salam restaurant in Chicago, which has two parts, an elegant, peaceful dining room and a coffee shop next door. The basis of the Nation of Islam's program centers around land to supply basic needs. Three hours from Chicago in Cassopolis, Michigan, is a typical Muslim farm operation managed by Brother Cornelius X. Williams. His involvement with this farm project goes back to the very beginning.
We started about 3 years ago, shortly after I'd heard a teaching in South Bend, and I was interviewed by the messenger, and he was talking about he wanted to get a farm started for the Muslims. And I had several interviews with him. He explained what he wanted and how he wanted it set up, how he wanted to go about it. And then we started to purchase land in this area. Nothing but opposition. Everybody was all shook up. Really fear, basically, just a great fear that they had for what they thought was going to take place.
What did they think was going to take place?
Well, there was many ideas, things that they said. The whites, they could picture a training camp for soldiers. They thought the barns and things that we were building for livestock, they thought that they were going to be used for training soldiers how to fight or something. And the Negroes, they really didn't know what was going on. They were just listening to the white people.
The long, cold winter does not stop work on the farm. There are cows to be milked, lambs to be fed, and eggs to be collected daily from over 23,000 hens, and stored fruit to be shipped. An 18-hour day is not unusual.
Well, right now things are coming along real well. We have several things that we intend to do yet that will kind of cut down on this labor problem. It's always a problem with getting qualified help. Everybody wants to work, but basically people don't really know how to farm the way farming is done today. See? Sure, I've always worked hard, but it's good to know that what you're working for now is going to someday accomplish something, or has a real meaning. I mean, it's nothing that you guess about. This is something positive. See? It's just like we might leave here going to Chicago. We can all take different routes, but we all wind up in Chicago. And this is basically where the so-called Negroes are today. I mean, they have their own little things, different organizations, but they're all leading the same place.
But there was one man who did go another way, and he is well known to us. Malcolm X. National Secretary John Ali gives his views.
Many people now are racing Malcolm X as a revered man, but he was good when he was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like all the rest of us. And then he broke away from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because of his loss of power as being set down as a minister. And he broke off, and then he took up with the same people that he'd been talking about who'd been enslaving the black man, which was the white man. And so he was an enemy to them because Malcolm had been teaching about the white man. He didn't love them any more than he loved them before he went with them. But it was only because of his fall from power, and this has been the downfall of black people throughout history, where we become envy and jealous of one another. Mr. Muhammad was not jealous of Malcolm. Malcolm was a student of Mr. Muhammad. And because of Mr. Muhammad, Malcolm became Malcolm. And he was converted in prison. And even in his book, if you read his book, he acknowledges that everything that he learned from Mr. Muhammad, except for the last chapter that he wrote when he broke away from Mr. Muhammad, because he wrote the book while with Mr. Muhammad.
My pleasure to be in the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam, Muslims in America. Mr. Muhammad, I have a series of questions I'd like to ask you concerning the Nation of Islam, about the Muslims in America. And I'd like to start off by asking, I think, to once again to reinforce the many things that we've heard about the Muslims, precisely when the Muslim started in America, who started the Muslim movement in America, and how long ago has it been?
We started in 1931. Actually, we are not the organizers of Islam. It was God himself in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises is due, of whom the Bible and Holy Quran predicted. Master Fard Muhammad taught me Islam, and there was not with the word joining that was used. After he taught me who we were, it was not the question of joining, but accepting myself and what I had lost of myself by being kidnapped by the white people and brought to this part of the earth.
What you're saying is that Islam is basically the true religion for black people.
It is the very nature of them. It's not a religion. Islam, we refer to it as a religion. And that's the Holy Quran. I give to you, God says there, a religion. I have completed my favor upon you and choose for you Islam as a religion. Not that it's a religion. It's the nature of us.
Well, then also that leads me to the question then that do you feel that the relationship between the African and Africa, the blacks in Haiti and Jamaica and America, this would be one and the same? They're all brothers, aren't they?
Every black man under the sun is brothers. I don't care whether he live in America or live in Asia or Africa or in the islands of the Pacific or the Gulf.
Mr. Muhammad, in another area, it's been said that the Muslims in America, and I'm speaking primarily of the black, generally do not participate in politics. Now, is this something that is true, or do Muslims participate in politics as a voter, as a participant, as an elected official?
Muslims have politics, as you know. In the Islamic world, they have government, and all government have politics. But the politics of the Muslims is different from the white people's politics. In a way, they base their politics on the Quran, the law. They get it from Quran to run their government. Here in America, we are not yet an independent people here on any land at all that we can call our own. This is what we are asking for. We're asking for land of our own.
Well, do you feel, excuse me, did you feel that, I was speaking primarily when you mentioned the black man in America should find some place where he could set up his own nation. I was thinking of a large area where all of us could go to be in the Nation of Islam.
You find that on the last page of Muhammad Speak newspaper, where that we have learned that we cannot get along with the white man in peace, and the white man have the privilege to separate us. But instead, the more we want to be separated from him, the more he wants to gobble us up. And you excuse the word gobble, but the more he wants to swallow us up in his power. He don't want the black man out of his sight. He's afraid of you going to yourself. But this is the only way he could exist now, because this days of separation has come divinely.
To the black men and women who follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam is a way of life. To them, it is the nation of common sense.
Mr. Muhammad speaks newspaper. Take Muhammad speak. Thank you, man. Muhammad speaks. Be all right, my brother. Purchase this edition, Muhammad speaks newspaper. Get a hold of yours today. Yours today, brother. Muhammad speaks.